Hello, this is Alex Calvo Garcia. You're listening to the Iron Hour podcast.
Thanks for tuning in once again to the Iron Hour podcast. I'm your host, Barrett. I'm joined by two of my usual panelists. First of all, Max Bell. How you doing, Max?
All the better for seeing you, Barry.
And there he is. And Marco Poliga. How you doing, Marco?
Yeah, I'm great. Looking forward to a positive podcast after this week.
Whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop. Whoop, whoop indeed. Coming up on today's podcast, we, of course, review the Brackley game on Tuesday night. Fantastic win for the Iron and a much-needed goal for Mark Beck. We'll preview the South Shields game on Saturday coming up. And, of course, it's their first game in 3.5 weeks due to the bad weather. We'll touch on that and a little bit more in the Spy in the Camp. We've actually got two fans from South Shields this week, so that's an interesting one. And, of course, we'll finish it off with our usual hero, idiot, and moment of the week. Let's start with 3 points, Mr. Max Bell. Are we going up as champions?
Look, it was a much needed win. At the back end, it was probably tighter than it should have been. If heaven forbid, if Brackley had bundled home the corner or the throw in they had in the 95th, 96th minute, I mean, you'd have been absolutely devastated. But if you'd have offered any of us before the game any kind of win, scrappy, sexy, referee helped with a guy. Yeah, thank you very much. See you later, and taking it. So it was a good performance offensively after the break. The Brackley's first goal in particular was too easy for my taste. But look, it's 3 points. We've taken 6 points now off Brackley this season. It's good for morale. Yeah, it was a good win. It was a good night.
Marco, I'm going to give you the option of the question. So, two possible routes. Route one is
long ball, isn't it? Route one, when you go back to front quite quickly, Beck's head.
Route one is, what did you think of that first half? Should we have a bit of a chat about that? Or route two is, let's park that and talk about the fact we got a win and the second half was Butler ball at his prime.
Look, let's go route two. I did put on X saying, ironically, the first half was really dull and we didn't concede. And second half did open up a bit, hence was conceding 2 goals. But look, I mentioned on Humberside midweek that I got asked about the Chorley game, and obviously us not coming out the traps for second half, and it wasn't very Butler. But I think on Saturday we saw us back to our good selves, and we came out second half really on the front foot, despite obviously having that 1-0 lead. Like we said about the first half, wouldn't surprise me if Butler maybe did have a few choice words despite going in 1-0 up, if that makes sense. Just not to sort of rest on your laurels. But look, let's not focus on first half too much. The second half was much improved. Like Max said, shouldn't have been that tight at the end. We shouldn't have been going 7 minutes. Where's 7 minutes could form out than 5? Yeah, we shouldn't have got to that stage. It could have been another Kings Lynn score on another day. So yeah, really, really impressed, and good to leave Glanford Park 3 points.
I didn't actually think the first bad was as the first half. Sorry, let me say that again. I didn't think the first half was quite as bad as Marco was saying. Really good goal for Beeston. Genuine moment of quality.
Yeah, not bad. I've got to take off Barrow as well, saying that was a bit shit, wasn't it? And I think that's probably
pony was the word I used.
Do you see that bus? You just chucked him under there.
No, and I agree. I'm fully with it. I don't think we showed what we could have, and you see that the second half, and I do think we just didn't really get started as quick as we potentially could. We did enough though, and I'm not bothered about that. As long as we get the win, I'm not bothered about that at all. So
yeah, look, if you give me 45 minutes of pony football and we win 1-0, I'm gonna take that, especially against a side who, before kickoff, were above us in the table.
Yeah.
Of course, because Butler would turn around to anyone and say, well, I got you in at half-time 1-0 up. We didn't concede. We was in pole position to go on in that second half and kick on. So what more do you want, lads?
That's true.
I don't. I'm happy with a win.
Yeah.
Don't tag me with this rubbish.
Yeah, we are being super critical, but it's only because we've seen 15 minutes later after that what we can do. That's the only reason why.
I mean, that second half was absolutely phenomenal. Max, a big talking point in recent weeks has been the fact that the goals have come from 2 sources only, Callum Roberts and Danny Whitehall. Fantastic to see 3 different scorers on Tuesday night.
Yes, very much so. Again, big shout out to Beeston for the first goal. It was a genuine moment of quality. Often fans, myself included. Look, I don't think Beeston's best and most natural position is out wide, and I'm not going to pretend that I do. However, Tuesday night was one of his best games as a winger. I liked the fact that he got the Iron Bar man of the match. I know he was taken off with, I maybe want to say about 20 minutes to go. I thought he was one of the 3 or 4 players. He was a very legitimate man of the match shout. So if the players are going to contribute, it makes, in particular, Roberts' life so much easier. And, obviously Beck's goal wasn't quite as glamorous or quite as good technique as Beeston's, but they all count the same, baby.
Marco, let's talk about Mark Beck. I mean, I've never felt such a positive energy in that stadium for a goal. It was phenomenal, wasn't it?
Oh, let's talk about Beck, baby. Oh, I love it, mate. I was so happy. And look, to see that reaction, the rest of the team celebrating with him, it was so nice to see. Clearly, he's been struggling, and that showed with the celebration. And I think it just a massive weight off his shoulders. Look, there's a player in Beck. We know that, and I've said that from the beginning. A couple of bad misses, and look, it's easy to get on his back because they've not cost us points as such, but they have been really bad misses at crucial times in games, which I think why they've been highlighted more. But when that ball came in, you thought, to be fair, he's done really well to actually reach and get to that ball. And I mean, it
was more of a tackle than a shot, wasn't it, Marco? Let's be fair.
It's a great finish.
From my angle, it looked like an initial shot which was saved, ricocheted back out, and then hit his knee.
I think the keeper's just maybe got a hand on it, and it's just floated in, but just bounced in. I don't think it actually hit. I think it was off his initial toe.
Was it?
But look, we all count.
Yeah, I could have swore it was like a shot save and then bundled over the line, which it was funny because everyone says about a striker going for a drop, don't they? It'll go in off his kneecap, off his whatever else.
100%, yeah. His backside, you take anything, and it definitely was a bit off of that. But look, it was an important goal. You saw from the scoreline, it mattered making that 3-1. It made it a little bit easier for us. So you don't get any prettier flowers for a 35-yard thunder,
Yeah.
So,
and one great thing about that goal is you'll see on the picture I've actually put in as the podcast picture this week. Whitehall's face when he's scoring, it's so good. Look, they're in direct competition because we are only going to play that one striker. But even Whitehall, just so happy that Beck's finally managed to get off the mark. And look, an informed Beck and Danny Whitehall, National League North's a very good level for these two strikers. Do you know what I mean? If we've got them two firing, a lot of games coming up at home, I really do think we're back in the mix now. And look, you can clip that, but when we come 5th or 6th, I do genuinely think we're genuinely back in the mix. I mean, that Kidderminster game coming up is a big one.
Mm-hmm. No, we're back in the hunt again. I mean, the Kidderminster game is not until March, is it? So
Early March, isn't it?
Yeah, there's time. I mean, it could go one or two ways before then, Marco.
These home games, I think we could go to Kidderminster 5 or 6 clear.
It's
wow,
possible.
You can clip that bit.
Yeah, clip it. Look.
But he's right. We could. No, we could be 4 points adrift. Like,
but
next few games are so.
Yeah, but if you start playing the could game, Scarlett Johansson could walk past your front room, Barra. But I would have questions as to why she's in goal.
She'd be getting catcalled.
Called by cat, as in Mrs. Barra.
Jesus Christ! What a shambles of a
Barra whistling out the window. Get back here.
Can we get back onto the football? Yeah.
Right, genuinely, at halftime, I had a friend turn around to me and go, "Oh, Beck's due, isn't he?" And I jokingly turned around.
He's quite big, yeah.
I turned around and went, "Yeah, but I think Diego Forlan's still due to score a goal for Man U anytime soon." So, bit of reverse psychology there. Everyone turned around and smiled. As Marco says, it was a genuinely good, but also valuable moment when he scored that goal, and that's what I'm most interested in.
Marco, I guess two players I wanted to highlight. I mean, everyone's been giving Ollie Rose a lot of credit, but I thought both fullbacks were unbelievable on Tuesday night. Denton, that's one of the best games I've seen from him this season, in my opinion. Did you have a similar opinion?
100%. it's no secret I'm one of Denton's biggest fans. Last year I was singing his praises, but
Right? Come on, let's address the elephant in the room. Is that because he's now followed you on Twitter?
he followed the pod. Obviously, just wanting the eye candy off the pod, but no.
Where is Gareth? Where is Gareth?
I was bigging him up last season without the follow, but I really look. Ironically, he's playing more as a wing back now than he did when we played the back five.
Good point, that. Really good point.
That makes sense. But that just tells me he's a lot more comfortable in that position, knowing what's behind him to go on these runs. And obviously, he got the assist at Charles, a great cross to Whitehall. And look, I think we're seeing Denton at his best pre-injury before last season. So yeah, really exciting to have him in. Bit gutted for Kelly because look, it sounds like we're getting a bit more right back cover. So yeah, it's competition for places, and it's what we need with Beck and Whitehall. We've got 4 or 5 wingers now, which is mental considering we weren't playing wingers at the start of the season. So it's a good problem to have when you're leaving players like Nicholson, not even getting him a match day squad. It is a really good problem for Butler to have.
Yeah, it has gone from a bit famine to feast with the wingers, like you say, Marco. But I would just like to give a bit of a shout out to Rose. Look, you're getting an 18-year-old on loan from Peter in League One. He's never really had, big, difficult, competitive senior football before. That's not easy, especially when you're playing in a role where you're expected to get up and down, you're expected to win tackles. Frankly, you're playing on a pitch that isn't in great nick, especially in that right back area. It looked slightly better than it did against Kings Lynn, but it still wasn't a crown green bowl turf. So I like the fact that Rose was up and down. I thought he started solidly in the first half, and then got better in the second half. I liked his delivery. He looks like a good crosser of the ball to me. And I know that everybody always jokes that if you're a fullback, you're either a failed centre half or a failed winger. I'm going to guess winger based on the quality of his delivery.
No, do you not know? He's an actual centre back.
I'm not.
Which is unbelievable because
what's more ironic is Max singing his praises, and not just Max, everyone thinking we've got a real player. It doesn't sound like he's staying. From a Butler interview, I don't know if you guys have seen it.
Yeah, I listened to it earlier.
Peterborough are very keen on getting him back.
But Butler did say, that I think they'd be keen to let him stay, but the fact that they're looking at another right back and the fact that the loan was only a month tells me that it's unlikely. I mean, we joked, didn't we, Marco, about him being a centre back because we know Butts loves a centre back. I reckon the board have gone to him, look, yeah, you can have a right back, no problem. And he's gone, right-sided defender, no problem, leave it with me. No, needs to be a right back, Butler. Yeah, I've got you, leave it with me.
What about a 6'1" right back?
Well, I would say in fairness, if you hadn't have heard anything and you'd never seen him play for Peterborough or there'd been no statements about it, I would not have looked at him and gone centre half.
No.
So, look, we can't control what Peterborough do. Loans being for an initial month isn't that uncommon nowadays, especially at this level. Happened with the with a Fishburne swap agreement. So, look, we'll take it a day at a time. We're not restricted in the way that Peterborough are with the transfer window. So, if we have him for a month and he goes back, or if we have him for 2 months and he goes back, we could dip back into the transfer market if we find the right option. Because we discussed it last week. We need a natural right back in the building, and if that's Rose, then great. If he plays a little bit too well for us, or Peterborough feel like they need a bit of extra cover, that's football.
We need Peterborough to start keeping some clean sheets in games. That's for the next couple of weeks. I'm going to be a Peterborough fan, I think.
Well, it's a bit like Smith last season, isn't it? When we had him on loan for the first 6 months, and it got to January, and you think he's playing a bit well here. Also, if he had played just a little bit less well, you might have actually had a better chance of keeping him. Yeah. So that could be the same. Look, if we go on here and Rose has 5 or 6 really good games in a short run of time, why wouldn't a National League club come in for him potentially if he's available? And that's obviously the Peterborough.
Massive credit to the club. I know we've got to give him a lot of slander regarding signings and players. To be looking at Peterborough's under-20s, under-21s, and find a player like Rose, it is a good signing. Even if it's a month, it's done its job. So that is a positive.
And on that, Butler said in his initial interview, he said, "Me and Scully have had a look," and then his interview after the game on Tuesday night, there was almost an addenda to that because he said Scully really knows his stuff. He's gone out and spotted Rose. So, I mean, I still have questions about the vacancy for the head of recruitment and the fact that obviously the board went on the radio and said that there's a temporary freeze on that. I've still got questions about when that will be filled because we're getting closer now to the end of the season, and I would like to see some kind of strategy with regards to recruitment, particularly as we get towards next season, because leaving it solely to the manager and the assistant, in my opinion, will do a job at this point in the season. But as you start getting towards long-term strategy, I think there needs to be a real focus around long-term development and an actual scout. I'd love an actual scout at the club, would be great. So that will be the only thing I'll push back on a little bit. Would be the next challenge now is get that vacancy filled and let's see what the future brings. Before we move on to the next section, Max, let's quickly talk about those 2 goals we conceded, because in my opinion, it probably made the game feel a little bit closer than it maybe should have.
Yeah, but that's the scoreline, baby. It was what it was. I know I mentioned it when we first discussed the game. Brackley's first goal was a little bit too easy for my taste. It's just a ball into the channel, run. It's a nice finish, but how high we were, how relatively vulnerable we were down the left side. You would usually expect Denton's pace to perhaps have put him under more pressure there. Boyce getting done in a 15-yard sprint race is not shocking. That's not his strength, and it's never been his strength. But structurally, in terms of how we set up, if Butler will know better than anybody, we don't want to allow teams to be in a situation where one pass gets you from the halfway line to the back of the net. And unfortunately, it did. Luckily, in the end, it didn't matter. But if you're in a tighter game, if you're away from home, if you're playing a side who, maybe restrict space against you a little bit more, or you don't quite get a rub of the green for whatever reason, those kind of situations, you're always going to want to avoid them. But that's a structural issue. I wouldn't say it was an individual error per se by any of them, because I genuinely don't believe it was. It's just how you set up, how you're reactive, what you like when the other team recycles possession quite quickly. And look, luckily it didn't matter in the end. So 3 points is 3 points, I guess.
I always think with Boise, if he wins the first contact, we're absolutely fine. He'll get it out, ball over the top, he'll win. Even if it's a low ball, if he gets that first contact, we're fine. If it gets through him, that's when we're in trouble, because he's then in a foot race and
And look,
running at pace is not his strength, is it?
No, it's not. And I know there's a modern trend for defenders nowadays to be really quick because it allows size to push high up the field. I don't think that has to be the be and end all. I think of the 06-07 side kept clean sheets for fun. Back 4: Williams, Crosby, Foster, Byrne. 3 of that back 4 got the turning circle of the Titanic. Williams was quick, but then Williams would often push forward, and you could get quite out of position in there. But it was how you defended that structurally. What's the protection in the middle of the park in front of them? The legs of Sparrow, the experience of Barraclough, your shape, your compactness, how high your keeper is, whatever those reactions to that situation are. I don't think lack of pace is a barrier per se to good defending, but it's you defend as a team, and that is a structure, and that's on the midfield as well. So I hope we don't concede another goal like that against Saturday, because actually I think about just on South Shield briefly, that is the kind of side they are. They will try and play that kind of football. It's one quick pass in behind, looking for a little bit of pace on the turn. So, yeah, I'm sure they'll be reviewing the footage, and when they're planning their offensive setup, that's the kind of things that they'll be looking for.
Okay, that draws a line under the Brackley game. Just before we move on to the spy in the camp section, I guess, obviously there's been a lot of rumours on social media around things that are maybe or maybe not happening behind the scenes at the club. As far as I think we're all concerned, we haven't heard anything yet to substantiate any of those rumours. So I guess we don't really want to talk about it at this moment in time until that situation does or doesn't develop. I mean, like I say, I think if the facts change and things move on, then we'll definitely talk about this or on a future podcast. But for now, I think I don't know if you guys agree, but I think there's just nothing at the minute to cut now.
No, for sure. Look, we're very independent. Other platforms might have a way in or know people at the club and know what's happening. But we're four fans. We know as much as everyone else. And
Five.
Oh God, Becky, God, it's been that long since I've done a podcast with Becky.
See. Now, if you'd slag me off there, you could have pretended you'd done that on purpose.
Yeah,
but by going, oh no, Becky, it proved it was a mistake.
Oh yeah, sorry, Becky. But no, look, as soon as we know, you guys know. We have had a lot of messages regarding stuff like that, and look, as much as he wants to be, Barrow isn't on the board, and we don't know, but it's something we'll definitely discuss when we know. And obviously, part of what we do is we want to be really transparent. So when we know, you guys know.
Go on then, Barrow. Who's our spy in the camp?
Well, it's a treat. It's a double whammy, mate. So double trouble. Here you go. This week's spy in the camp. This week I'm joined by, well, a bit of a treat really, two South Shields fans. So double trouble, twice the information. First of all, we've got Darren from the Claret and Blue Pixels.wordpress.com blog, which I had a little look at earlier. Some pretty good stuff on there. So thanks for joining us, Darren. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much.
Did I get all of that correct? That's the important question.
Yes, you did. Yes, you
Very
did.
good stuff. And life-suffering South Shields fan, is that fair, Phil?
That's right.
So, I mean, the whole idea is to get a little bit of an insight into South Shields. We've obviously played you a few times now. The one that stands out to me is that FA Cup game, but let's not get into that one. The less we talk about that one, the better. I look back at this season, and Scunthorpe's probably one of our best performances was actually away at South Shields for that 2-0 victory for the Iron. Did you go to that game?
I was there, yes. It's a pretty fair assessment, I think. From your point of view, you played excellent there. From our point of view, we've been a bit hissy-missy this year. Sometimes we're at the races, sometimes we're not. Sometimes the players want to play, sometimes the players don't. You've probably been saying about the same.
Well, you know me, I'm a bit more of an optimist. I mean, there was a time when I thought that because we beat us in the FA Cup, but also beat us in the league the previous season, so I thought for a second maybe first category has become a bit of a bogey ground for Scunthorpe all of a sudden. but yeah, I agree with Phil that day you basically played us our own game and you wiped the floor. To be fair, I mean, it wasn't a total disgrace, but you definitely deserved your win that day, and I was really impressed with you. I thought there was a few of us that actually said, if this team do not win the league this season, we will be very shocked.
Yeah. Well, you might well just be shocked.
I think right there. It could have been set up right now, of course.
Yeah, this was back in August, mind you, when you had a red hot start.
Yeah. But Darren didn't reckon that August before, didn't we?
Well, everyone did.
So it didn't happen.
Everyone did.
I look at South Shields this season. It's been quite indifferent, but I mean, just looking more recently, Darren, obviously because of the weather, you've not played in 3.5 weeks on Saturday. Do you think that'll be a bit of a challenge for the team?
It'll be well, it depends which one's turn. Could we be like a well rested team, or could we be like ring rusty? We tried that last season when what was it? When we played Peterborough after about a 4-week break and we lost. And but yeah, it depends which one turns up. I'm hoping it's the one where, like, say, we're well rested and all that.
Yes, I'm hoping that as well. And I think that we'll put Paul Blackett up front now. He can put them away when he wants to. Top scorer in the league, I believe so
yes.
far. Yeah, and if it's all to do with service as well, like get the ball forward.
Yeah, I'll just jump in again, Phil. Barra, I think that would be the key on Saturday. Is keeping Paul Blacker quiet. If you don't, then he will run rings around your defense. He will run rings around any defense in the league. I mean, I was joking with Phil. I think was it a couple of days ago, and I said, it's just respectful joke, Barra. That we'll try to think of reasons why Blackett is better than Danny Whitehall or Cal Roberts, and well, thought against it, but in our opinion, he is the best striker in this league, without a doubt.
It's certainly in the conversation, isn't he?
Yeah, and that's nothing against your guys, by the way. I mean, we like Whitehall. We love Cal Roberts. I mean, we know from him when he was at Blythe Spartans, and we are big fans of those two players.
Yeah. If I were to give anything away, though, I think that Miles Bowley at the back, he's the goalkeeper. And, likes the boss's area. Good catcher.
Terrific shot stopper.
Not a very good distributor of the ball, though. Sometimes his kicks go a bit awry. I'll put it mildly.
Everyone's got their weaknesses, Phil.
Well.
And just looking at recent form, just looking at recent form, and as we say, not played in 3.5 weeks, but the most recent game was a rather disappointing defeat, a derby really against Darlington, a 1-0 defeat. Darren, was that a frustrating game?
Very frustrating. I mean, Darlington basically came to the job on us defensively and just played on the counter. I mean, you've probably seen the goal yourself. It was just a ball over the top, and both of our centre backs. I mean, it's very unlike Tom Broadbent and Dylan Morse to actually misjudge the bounce of the ball like that. And Cedric Main just waltzes through the middle and leaves him 1-on-1 with Boney, and he's got no chance in that situation. But it was but apart from that, I thought it was a very, very even contest. I mean, we managed to get forward a few times. There was a moment when Blackett was 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper, and he uncharacteristically, we were all shouting, "Why didn't he dink the ball?" And instead, he just tries to go under the keeper, and Jameson was waiting for that. It was a very uncharacteristic day at the office. But
that wasn't
played better
game.
though.
Sorry, it wasn't that game, but the last game I was up with Kirsten Ashton. Which is a strange place to go, you're probably aware, and weren't there that day. To me, for that game, I don't want to sound too downhearted about it, but it wasn't very good.
In terms of expectations, then, Phil, I mean, South Shields, as far as I understand, is still a full-time team, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, when you look at this division, there's only 4 or 5 clubs really that are still or are full-time. Do you think that helps or hinders you? Because we've had a conversation in the past on the I Know podcast where we've said that actually, in a way, we sometimes feel like it can hold you back because it stops you getting the very best semi-pro players because then they don't want to turn pro. It just doesn't suit their lifestyle.
Yeah, the thing with the pro teams that they really found this yourself is that especially going back to you used to be a football league team, of course, and you'll have had non-league teams coming up against this saying, right, let's go and show these full-timers what they're doing and all of that, and you find teams up the game against you, and then after that you're saying, you're meant to be full-time, are you? Well, it happens, doesn't it? That's why there's the crossover between league and non-league football at the end of the day. But no, the Forest League position goes at the moment. We're 12th at the moment after the results last night, including well done, by the way, for hanging on.
Yeah, well, it was a tough. Well, it's a funny game that because really we deserved. I call it as it is. Trust me, I'm not one to get carried away, but we deserved the win. But what it's like when there's only 1 goal in it, it can sometimes look a little bit tighter, or those last 10 minutes can get very edgy.
We keep on saying as the calls.
Yeah.
But as far as the future goes, that 12th was nice. We missed out by 1 win. Boston leapfrogged were the last day of the season last season to go into playoffs, and they actually won them, of course. And we've had some discussions. We've had, shall we go straight to the National League itself and get murders? Or shall we just go up there and enjoy ourselves, do what we can? I mean, the chairman's ambition is that for a while now, I know he's trying to sell up. I think he's backtracking on that now. But I think that the project EFL, as they used to call us before the pandemic, is that, we want to get back into the Football League. The last time we were there was 1933, but never mind. But, that's the ambition for us. The ground that we've got, certainly good enough. The attendance that we've got would outstrip some the Football League sides. And at the end of the day, these non-league divisions are hard to get out of, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
If you're heading north, if you're heading up anyway,
very
easy to get relegated out of. But
yeah, you've got to have an exceptional season. In terms of expectations for this season, then, Darren, where would you hope that Shields would finish this season?
When I did my prediction, I said 12th. But that was mainly more down to the fact that we made a lot of changes over the summer. I mean, the team that beat us in February is a lot different to what we're built right now, because, like say, most of the big earners have gone. Like say, Jed Abbey, he's not here anymore. Neither is Dylan Stevenson. He went down to Dagenham. Michael Woods, he's isn't there anymore. There's only of the team with the NPL, of the players that Kevin Phillips brought in, there's only 4 left.
Wow.
Yeah. In fact, I'm telling you right now, Tom Broadbent, Paul Blackett, Mackenzie Heaney, and I can't remember who the 4th one was. Probably off the top of my head, I don't know. But Elliot Dickman, our manager, he's well liked up here. We love what he's trying to do at the club, even though we're now far, but we understand what he's trying to do. Trying to bring like more of the academy lads through.
Yeah.
Try and bring a younger emphasis on the team. Some of the signs he's managed to get through his connections with Newcastle and Sunderland, like Lucas de Ball. I mean, what a capture he was. I mean, he's been terrific for us so far. And so is Kyle Crossley, who used to work with when he was at the Newcastle Academy. He's actually starting to build up a very, very good partnership with Paul Blackett up front. The more as the season's gone on. But as the season's gone on, I mean, we've picked up form before Christmas. I think before we played Denton, we lost 1-7 in the league, and we managed to get up to as high as 8th place. And sort of in that bracket between 7th and 12th, I still expect us to be in and around that point, even though we're full time. I still see this like more of a transition season because of those changes. And then next season we'll probably make a more serious push for a playoff place. I don't think we're good enough to win the league. I don't think we'll be good enough to win the league for a good few years yet. But for the playoffs, maybe in a couple of years, to be serious contenders, yes.
It's only going to get harder in this division with Macclesfield presumably coming up.
Yeah.
It's going to get a lot harder, I would think.
They talked to us in the FA Cup earlier.
Yeah,
they did.
Unbelievable side.
When they get promoted into our league, they will be immediate favourites to go straight through it. I guarantee it. They'll just throw even more money at it.
Yeah. It doesn't always work like that, though. Not in this league, I can tell you right now.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
It's, Right, finally then, hit us up, lads. You first, Phil, with a score prediction for the weekend. Ooh, dramatic suspense.
3-2 to Shields. Let's keep it here.
Very optimistic.
Shields, very optimistic. 3-2 to Shields. I rate it though. I respect it. And Darren, what are you going for?
I'm more realistic. I'll be delighted with a point. But mainly just like a good response to the Darlington defeat in a way. Say if you could win the game, but if we put in a good showing, I'll be happy with that. But in terms of picking us, I'll be delighted with a point to your place.
Yeah, I'd probably take a point now. If you offered me it now, I'd take it.
Would that be down to your indifferent form in recent weeks?
Yeah, I don't know if you know this, but we haven't won at home on a Saturday. I think since August.
When was the last time we played us home on a Saturday?
Us, no, often, very often.
I was going to say about the one that shocked me was I'm sorry, bringing bad memories though. Was the trip to Russell?
Yeah, that was bad.
I mean, I can't believe he's lost it because I think
I can believe it, mate.
about 2 weeks before that. What did we do with them, Phil? I think we beat them 7-0.
7-0. Yeah.
Ah, yes, I.
Yeah. I mean, because when I found that out, I just put like a little video on of someone spelling out "nutty as a fruitcake" just to describe this league.
Do you know what, as well? No word of a lie, they were really good value for their win. It would have been a disgrace if they'd not won that game. They were far and away the better team over the 90 minutes. Yeah, we missed a lot. It's like this, right? We missed a lot of chances. If we'd have taken the chances, we probably would have won the game. But I still think it'd have been harsh on Russell. They were value for, and I'll always say that if teams come and outdo us, I've got no issue with saying that, and they were certainly the better team on the day. It has to be said.
We can say exactly the same from when Radcliffe beat us back in October. We dominated that game, but 2-4, two very controversial sendings off did for us that night.
That's football, baby. That's the way it goes.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. No, indeed. Thank you very much for coming on, guys. Really appreciate that.
You're welcome.
You're welcome, mate.
Well, there you go then. Two guests on the INL podcast this week. Of course, we had Darren, and we promoted his blog there, which, as I say, I had a little read of the other day, and so some good stuff on there. I always enjoy reading the good football vlog, and of course, Phil, two lifelong suffering South Shields fans, as they described it. But Marco, they've not played in 3.5 weeks, as we touched on there. Do you think that's a help or a hindrance?
It depends what happens Saturday, doesn't it?
That's the correct answer.
It really does. I mean, look, we've had weeks off and then not come back the same sort of side we saw previously. We're on a good, dare I say it, good bit of form at the minute. So to me, I think you want the games coming as thick and fast as you can to continue that. Does the Glanford Park pitch want that? Hell no. But look, it can work both ways. It really can. And let's just hope they're maybe a little bit out of touch. They've had 3.5 weeks off. Are South Shields full time?
Yeah, they are. And actually, South Shields were full time in the division below.
Yeah,
when they'd done us in the cup that year, they were already full time.
Yeah, so that's 3.5 weeks of solid training, new stuff, possibly new tactics. I know the mid-table will be wanting to maybe make a late charge for a playoffs, but yeah. So look, it can go one or two ways. But me personally, I wouldn't want to be coming to Glanford Park in the form we're in at the minute. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Do you know what? How weird is it? Like, things change drastically in a week. How you've just said that I wouldn't want to be coming to Glanford Park in the form we're in. 2 games ago, we lost away at Rushall. Things change on a split second, don't they?
Of course they do, especially of course they do. But a little bit of that's looking ahead as well to the run we have got, and it is at home. And I'm coming on to it later in my hero idiot mode stuff. But I think it's got a lot to do with giving Andy Butler a lot of credit. I won't say it was ridiculed for a 5 at the back, but it was scrutinised heavily.
Scrutinised, yeah, definitely.
Heavily. And I think it's been big enough to change it. It's obviously working a little bit better now. Not to say there's not a place for a 5 if we're going to somewhere tough away. Wouldn't surprise me if we see it at Kidderminster. But, like we said, Denton's a much better player for this formation, as are a few others. I think the defence looks a lot more comfortable. Yes, we conceded a few sloppy goals, but I think the fact that we're scoring a lot more now is down to formation. So, yeah, a bit of credit to Butler there. But, yeah, look, we lose on Saturday. Next podcast is Meltdown. Football fans are very fickle, me included. But, no, I'm looking forward to Saturday. I really am. I think South Shields will come and have a go. I was disappointed with them at their place. I thought we were really poor when we went to there early on in the season. So now I'm looking forward to it.
The only thing I would say about that, though, is obviously the game could have still been very different. South Shields still had a couple of big chances that had they taken, that game flips on its head totally.
Yeah, we weren't at the races either. Which is even more disappointing for them. They were.
Which game? Sorry.
South Shields at their place.
So, as I just said on the Spina Camp, I thought it was one of our best performances so far this season.
Really?
Yeah, I thought we were phenomenal that day.
I think bit of both. I don't think they were anywhere near.
Of course they weren't.
Yeah.
I thought we were unbelievable though.
But it's up to us to take it to them. And
Yeah,
look, we got a result.
Yeah, look, and at the risk of, I'm never the voice of reason, but I'm somewhere in the middle between you two. I thought we were good at times. I thought we tried to have a good tempo. Both sides at Soundshield, I thought there was quite a few moments where that final bit of quality in the final third wasn't quite there.
I seem to remember that from Carlton. That stands out as maybe a...
Yeah, was there one chance he put over the stand in front of the away?
Correct.
Yeah. But I mean, Jesus, that game almost feels like a lifetime ago now.
It does.
And South Shields are genuinely one of the sides in this division who properly try and get the ball down, and they'll try and move it. It would be interesting to see for me how high their defensive line is, how compact is their shape out of possession. You know, they're not going to be looking to be Keith Alexander's Lincoln because they haven't got the players for that. But nonetheless, what's their average position going to look like? What's their, is it a low, medium? Is it a high block? What's their plan to counter us defensively?
Get the ball to Paul Blackett and he'll do some damage. You don't want to give him too many chances, do you?
No, and I think we got lucky because Blackett did have a couple of chances in the game at South Shields, but that will be their plan. You would think it would be for a pretty similar goal to Brackley's first. Win the ball in the midfield, play quick ball into the channel, Blackett's pace on the turn, does Boyce in a sprint race, have you got the quality to finish it? And then, look, if he does, I would still hope that we've got enough quality ourselves in the final third to score 2 or 3 goals. So we'll see. As Marco says, it's a big game. 3.5 weeks is an unusual amount of time between games, but that's football, and it's certainly football at this level.
Marco, gun to your head, give us a scoreline prediction.
2-0.
Who do you think might bag then? What are you looking for?
God.
I don't think he's playing. Robbie Fowler's long retired.
Oh, very, 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 very good. Are we all going to live in a Mark Beck house?
I'd love to say Beck, and my heart says Beck, but I think a Danny Whitehall double.
Yeah, I reckon Boyce's going to bag, mate.
It's due one.
He's due one. I'm hoping he's going to wheel out the boxing celebration. I've heard he's going to do it.
So go on then, Barrett.
Him, haven't you?
Yeah. So go on then, Barrett. If you think Boyce is finding the onion bang, what's your score prediction?
Yeah, I'll go 2-2 again. Yeah, I'm going to go high scoring draw.
I will go for 2-1 Scunny win. I could see similar to Brackley, us looking quite good going forward, but then maybe get hit with a sucker punch.
If I offered you a draw right now, Max, would you take it? Simple yes or no?
No.
What about you, Marco? Same?
No. These next 3-4 games can decide our season. I think we're huge. A win at home.
And the reason I wouldn't take a draw personally, wouldn't take a draw now, is because I think our likelihood of winning is greater than our likelihood of losing. Could I see a scenario where we play all right, they play all right, the draw's not the worst result in the world if you then go and beat Needham on Tuesday? Sure. But would I take it now? No.
I think the thing that, sorry, Marco, the thing that I'm always conscious of, if we are going to win the league, right, if we've got real aspirations, we need to be targeting like 2 points a game here and out.
Yeah, 100%. But look,
there's an average, obviously.
It'd be the most scumful thing to do is to win on Saturday. We'll get beat by Needham. It's so scumful getting up for these games. Your Brackleys and your teams up there. It's no good. And I said last week, it's okay if you win, but we need to follow it up. And this is your South Shields, who, with all due respect, aren't firing all cylinders, especially to what they would have wanted to be. I know, obviously, we've got a lot of games in hand, but South Shields, they'll be wanting to be in that top six.
Yeah. And look, we are third, but we still have to look at the table and be honest. We've still got to say, well, if Brackley win their game in hand, they're above us.
Yeah.
Curzon have got 3 games in hand. If they took 4 points from those 3, they'd be above us. So you can't take the foot off the gas. Marco's made a really good point. We've got a run of home games coming up. If you want to win the league, you've got to win them.
And this County Cup game, I would make wholesale changes.
You say that, mate, but we don't have a reserve team. Like he could make wholesale changes, and everybody that starts in that County Cup game could start a league match.
We've got that much talent at the minute. There is. I would want 10 or 11 changes and still expect to win.
Right. So
either Beck or Whitehall would have, like one of them's going to have to play.
No, you'd play Beck. This is what I mean. You'd play Beck.
Correct. I agree with Marco. You'd be making 89 changes. You'd be playing Campbell. You'd be playing Evans. You'd be playing Kelly. You'd be resting Roberts.
William, I get that.
Still expect to win.
Yeah.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me if we did go there and get beat, quite frankly, because Sporting are in really good form. But look, when you've got, particularly in the run-up to that game, you're playing Saturday, Tuesday. Something's got to give, even at this level. 100%. And if there is an opportunity to make 6, 7, 8 changes, I would agree with Marco. I'd say go for it.
Nice one. Right, let's move on to our hero, idiot, and moment of the week. Max, do you want to kick us off with your hero of the week?
Yes, my hero of the week is whoever's choice it was to reduce all the hot food to £2. Because I went and had an apple crumble. It was massive and it was delicious. And I know Barron's got his head in his hands, but I don't care. It was banging. We all, footy scrams become a big thing. We always moan about the quality of food at games and the cost. Scunny got it right, and it was bloody lovely.
Marco, who's your hero of the week?
So all my answers are Scunthorpe themed, and I've done that purposely. So, although big shout out to Max, I actually put a tweet saying the actual overall match day experience on Scunthorpe on Tuesday was very good.
Yeah.
On Saturday, sorry, it was very good. Tuesday, yeah. So plenty of food. Sky in the bar. It means so much. And whether that's a couple of guys having the extra pint after the game, it does make a difference.
Are you telling me that you don't want to be watching Stuart Little before the game again?
Not if we're winning. But yeah, no, big credit to the club because they do seem to have sort of got it on the head now, and there was plenty of food. We're used to running out of hot food at half time at Glanford Park, so yeah, good to see. My hero, though, I mentioned it earlier. It's for change, and it's Andy Butler.
You kiss ass.
No, it is. It's easy to look. He got a lot of flack
from you.
Not me, no, 100%. But I'll give credit where it's due, and to actually take it by the neck and change formation. None of us on here were Butler out. We can say what he was doing. We didn't think was working, but he's changed it. It seems to be working, and he's getting the best out of the players that we have at the minute. So this is my weekly hero. I'm not saying it's the hero of the season.
We lost to Rushall,
but this week, Butler got it right, and I loved it, and I hope I can say the same next week.
I'm caught in two minds, and I don't know what's coming up. So
just look.
I'm going to surprise everyone, and I'm going to give it to Max.
Oh,
you know what?
I was going to tell you give it a Butler.
No, I'm going to shock everyone and say Max can have that because despite my fantastic figure, I do like a bit of cheap food. It has to be said. So,
and genuinely, the crumble was really good.
Yeah, we'll love a crumble, don't we? Okay, idiot of the week. Marco, who's your idiot of the week?
Well, I'm going to fucking crumble if this is how it's going. Dear me. Right, what was it, moment or idiot? Because I've got an idiot now.
Idiot.
Is everybody in the Donny Road end? I don't know what it was like in the other stands, but if you booed when Mark Beck came on that pitch, take a fucking look at yourself, man. Honestly.
Genuinely, I didn't hear anything. I'm not being funny. I know I stand down the front line, but
there was people around me, and I was just like, what are you doing? In what world does that help? I mean, I didn't boo Joe Nuttall. I didn't boo Richie Bennett. And what
about Ross Millen?
I didn't boo Joe Nuttall. And but fans getting on strikers' back when they're in a bad run of form is not what they need. And look, Scuddy fans, we love to because of our history and what's happened on in the last few years. Love to scream about unity, me included. We are together, but booing your own players is not the way. So please, no matter how bad we're playing, do not boo Beck, or I will kick you down some stairs.
You shut that lad over the. Do you remember that? Who did we play on that Friday night?
Honestly, man. Saturday on Tuesday.
What? Sorry. So what did you say, Farrell? What did Marco do?
No, what Marco? God,
you are
Jimmy Dean's first game on that Friday night when we lost 3-1. Who was that against? Barnet. A lad went crowd surfing in the Donny Road end and fell in that gap. You know where you walk out under the stand. It was absolute carnage, wasn't it, Mark? Everyone's looking around. I've never heard a gasp like it in a stadium. Everyone just got
Me and Barra held our own residual. It was
vigil, not residual.
visual.
Vigil, like with a candlelight, you know.
But yeah,
we held our own residual.
we took a moment, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. It's going to be hard to top that, Max. Who's your idiot of the week?
Yeah, I've been struggling really. I thought about Elon Musk because I think he's a clown, and probably a fascist, but it's not really the vibe we're going for, is it?
You want to do it?
Oh, no, not from an Italian, you bloody don't. I will go for UEFA because the Champions League has been getting to a point, and the format's just ridiculous.
Oh.
They've so many pointless games that there's now been, and I'm not a fan of this new format at all. The way in which sides have been able to booing his own players, is he? It's all right on the basis he's Italian. He'll change his mind in a couple of minutes. I just don't like it. There was nothing wrong with the old format. Typical greed from UEFA trying to increase the number of games. Pointless.
Marco can't hit his stars that are on his shirt, which is fantastic. Marco gets the points. It's a good answer.
It was a good answer. Marco's was a good answer.
Yeah,
Also, I do get what Max is saying with Champions, but I think we've seen a bit more attacking game.
I agree. The only problem is that you look at who's going to finish in the bottom table and get the harder ties are the better teams. Like Man City and Bayern Munich are going to end up getting like Aston Villa or something.
Yeah.
It's going to be nuts. So
Marco
gets the points.
It's all perspective, isn't it?
Yeah. And it sets us up nicely now for our idiot of the week. Who's going to kick us off?
You're the idiot. We've just done the idiot. So you.
I guess who's not winning? What was your moment of the week, Marco?
I told you it was Scunny based, and it's one that made me smile the most. So it's the only right answer. It's Matt fucking Beck. It's Beck getting his goal. We
are so Beck, baby.
It just honestly there's not.
He's stolen my notes.
If there's a feel good story in football, I think you need to get it with both hands. Matt Beck's going to set on Tuesday. It was that. It was fantastic, and let's hope it's given that bit of confidence because obviously it meant a lot to him.
Max, how do you top it?
So genuinely, and I don't, you won't be able to see this, I suspect. But
are you a doctor? What kind of handwriting was that?
Just crap. My moment of the week was that, but it was specifically the moment after the goal when he comes over and Callum Roberts has literally lifted him up off the ground. Something with like this wiry little 5'7" winger has gone, yeah, you see that big 6'6" man? Yeah, I can do that. It gets him about one leg up off the ground. But I thought, yeah, the reaction of the teammates in a way was what made it best for me. You can't fake that. And the fact that Roberts was prepared to lift a man probably twice his size and weight, I thought that was terrific. Just hope he didn't injure himself while doing it.
Do you want me to pick one of you two?
No, we're both right. But
it's going to be Marco if I have to pick one.
I love the difference between mine and Max. I love the difference between mine and Max's notes.
Yeah.
Mine's just got scribbles with I and our it's like got them like dollar.
I just saw on Max's and just saw paracetamol times 2.
And mine's like Scunny going up.
You've done a caricature of Andy Boyce lifting a trophy.
So what genuinely you'll see what mine are. I don't know if you can see that. You see where it says to-do list, and then it's just this, and then at the bottom you can see the trade union I've got these from.
It's always political with you, isn't it?
Other trade unions are available.
Very good.
Very good.
Right, so yeah, we'll call it a draw. Everyone's a winner. And one final thing, just a huge shout out actually to the guys who were on the way to watch the Iron just before Christmas, and they came across a lady in a broken down car at the Berkeley Circle, they pushed the car all the way to her house, and she was so worried that they would miss the game. But they said it was okay. They just wanted to make sure she's okay. So we absolutely love that kind of community spirit. So the lady is someone that is known to one of the listeners of the podcast. So we just wanted to get that message out there. So I think they should be our heroes of the year, if nothing else. So massive shout out to those guys. Well done. And a huge shout out once again to our sponsors, Best Blank Wholesale. Hit them up for all of your needs when it comes to printing, t-shirts, hats, bottles, all that kind of stuff. They've a fantastic store, and I'm hoping they're going to hit me up with an Iron Hour t-shirt in the next couple of weeks. So if you see me next week or the week after wearing an Iron Hour shirt, you can rest assured it's been supplied by Best Blanks Wholesale. So make sure you check them out. As I say, thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week up the iron.